My name is Cantorán Viramontes. I am originally from Mexico, and I am a theater artist and an educator in New York City. I was born in Mexico, near Mexico City, in a place called Puebla, and I come from a family of educators. Both my parents are educators, my aunts and uncles are teachers. Like everybody that I grew up around work in schools, and I always thought that I would never be an educator. Like I refused to be an educator, and I have an MFA in theater. When I graduated, I decided that the next step for me as a theater artist was to move to New York. I found myself trying to find work in the city, and I ended up working in schools, and I actually really like it, and I feel very passionate about education now. So my parents must be happy about that, I think. Today I am going to a new school. I hadn't met these kids yet, and I'm going to teach puppetry. This is like all my materials. It's like I carry a bag of garbage. And I was feeling really nervous today because, yeah, it's the first time I'm going to this school, and it feels exactly like pre-show backstage nervousness, like it's exciting, but there's like a little bit of fear, and you never know what you're going to get. I started teaching in different public schools in New York. My first school was in Washington Heights, and the population in that school was majority from Dominican Republic, and that was for me, it was really fun because I could speak with them my own language, and we had similar stories of migration in the community. Teaching in different neighborhoods, you can also see how schools are different because the resources and the taxpayers' money is distributed in a different way depending on the neighborhood. So one day you could teach at a Manhattan school in Chelsea that is like really nice, and the next day you can teach at a school in the Bronx or South Brooklyn that has the AC broken, or that they don't have all the technology that they need. There is schools where I learned that kids are affected by homelessness, and they come to school without a proper meal. And so as educators, I feel like I need to be reminded that when I come to a school and my kids are facing a struggle and they are acting out, that might be the reflection of something I don't know about their home, about their everyday life. This is our stop. Living in Mexico, I thought of myself as a Mexican, and I never thought of myself as a person of color. The same way that I have to think of myself in the States. Last year I had to fill in this form for visa purposes, and then I realized that I didn't have a race. As a Mexican, I can be Hispanic, which is an ethnicity. I can be Mexican, that is a nationality, but there is a weird spectrum where I cannot identify with any race, and that kind of like fucked me up for a little bit. Not in a bad way, it's just like the identity construct are really weird. Living in Mexico, I was Mexican, I was woman, and I was Latin American, and that was that. Now when I moved to the States, I need to identify myself as a brown person, which I am, a Hispanic person, which has a connotation of being colonized and It's for a lot of people, it's painful to identify as Hispanic in my community. I finished college. I wanted to get a degree, a master's degree. Therefore, I was able to move to the States on a student visa. I was grateful to have my parents help me pay for my education. Then I met my husband in school. I got married. I moved to New York. And even though that's not a unique experience of migration, it is a very privileged one. That's one of the reasons I like living in New York. I think New York would constantly challenge my privilege. Even though I have struggles, my struggles are smaller than other people's struggles. Yeah, it just humbles you every single day. New York just humbles you every single day. Like even living in Mexico, I don't identify as an indigenous woman. I don't identify as a white woman, but historically, my roots come from those two lineages. At the same time, neither of them like represents me fully or takes me in fully. It's hard when you are like the only Mexican in a room and now you're like forced to represent all the Mexicans. I was 26 when I moved to the States, and that was the first time that somebody told me like, oh, but they told me like, but you're brown, and I am. But like it was like the first time ever that I was called brown, or that I like faced that. It is possible for one person to hold many different realities. I can be Mexican, I can be Latin American, an immigrant, I can be a New Yorker, and I can be American. And I think there is a lot of richness and magic in all those things. Many times I come to a classroom and the teacher would tell me, beware of Kevin, like Kevin is trouble. And most of the time I've encountered that for the arts, Kevin is the brightest kid, and they just need to find a way to express themselves in a different context that the school might not be offering to them in an academic way. So the funny thing is that art and science are both about failing and trying again and trying a different thing. And I think that science welcomes failure the same way that art welcomes failure. The problem is the way in schools, the standardized way of qualify something. It's either right or is wrong. Or I give you three options, and one of these options is the only one that is correct. And then you teach kids that there's only one way to do something. In a position of privilege, you can fail and you can lose something and know that you can regain it later. But when you don't have that privilege, losing something means that it will never come back. So failing might mean that you cannot get up again. Art can't give you a platform to express your thoughts. It can give you a platform to heal your traumas. It can give you a platform to communicate with other people and to help you reach beyond your community. Every single person, no matter of their background, can have a relationship with a piece of art, and it can be unifying, and it can also make you question things, and it can boost your confidence, and it can like disgust you, and it can make you feel different things. I think that is good for anything. If I had all the time and all the money in the world to fix this problem, to me, I think it just comes down to just an equal redistribution of the resources. A low-income neighborhood public school should have the same resources of a higher income neighborhood school. because public education should be equal for everyone, and that is not the case yet. And now I'm gonna go teach puppetry to 6th graders.